Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to take a crack at getting this crooked engine lined back up in the engine compartment like it's supposed to be and get the belts all in alignment. We'll also hook up some fuel line, get the seat back installed and the top installed. Then we'll get some gas and put it in the tank, see what blows up. Alright, so these two bolts mount the engine skid plate to the frame, the inner frame. Where are we at? These two bolts mount the engine to the engine skid plate. These are completely missing, although there is a through hole through this plate that corresponds with the mounting ears of the engine on the back side. So it's just a matter of me loosening up these two guys, getting a pry bar and jicky jacking this engine around and seeing if I can't get it straightened up. That one's not even tight. You can see that the slotted mounting holes that one's not tight either. Of course, these rubber mounting bushings aren't exactly in good shape. I mean, they're 30 years old. A little over, yeah, 30 years old, so yeah. They're bound to be worn. Whoops. Well, there ain't too many places to pry against this thing. Oh, hey, look at that. Look at that. Go underneath and see if any bolt holes line up. Well, I had to drive a bolt up in there just to clear all the crap out of the hole, because it was just packed with dirt and junk. So that's been that way for quite a while. These are too long. I'm gonna have to go a little shorter. Well, you kind of got to be Harry Houdini to get up here, or get in here. Washers and nuts and everything you need on the other end of this fastener. It's kind of tight up there. Oops. All right. That looks a whole lot better. That's in there where it's supposed to be. I put each bolt, move the engine so the bolts were about mid slot, and the tension I think is about right on the belt. I may have to loosen those up and adjust the engine forward or backwards a little bit depending on the drivability, but I'm really happy this wasn't more serious than it was. It looks like I can get my measuring stick to cooperate. I've got a half an inch from the outside edge of the clutch to the edge of the belt on both sides. So that measures even. If you remember looking at it in the last video, that thing was just kicked out like that. So, all right, I'm happy with that. I guess it's time to move on with all the fuel lines. Well, my mail carrier arrived today. This should be the last of the parts I ordered. That should be the fuel line and the clamps. So I'll get this opened up and we'll get to work put new fuel line on this club car. Well, I got the new fuel line and clamps all unboxed. So I guess the first order of business is to get this new fuel pump installed, and then we'll start hooking up fuel line. All right, get some nuts on there. Alright, there's the fuel pump. I doubt if you can see way down in there or not, but the line coming from the crankcase pulse was pretty hard and cracked and just not good shape, and I have a sneaking suspicion it was probably leaking by, which aided to the fuel delivery problems. Because gotta have a good pulse, get that pump to work. And I don't know yet. This brand new pump that I got, it came with the club car, but it's Chinesium, so you know, who knows if it's going to work right out of the box. We'll just have to play it by ear, see what happens. So I'm going to cut the rest of these lines to length. The one going from the tank to the pump, I am going to prime. I'll connect it to the pump, then I'm going to fill it with gas, and that'll hopefully help prime the pump. And then so I'm not having to crank on this thing forever to get gas to the carb. Also, the line I run from here down to the carb, I'll do the same thing. I'll prime it with gas, fill the bowl, then we'll see how that all works out. And then hopefully the little pulse pump will work, drop from the bottom of the tank, and this thing will run on its own. Okay, got the pump installed and the fuel lines all hooked up. The vent run down into the wheel well, the overflow hooked up. That's that open-ended one down there. When I was filling up the carburetor, the line to the carburetor, I was starting to get a little gas running out the overflow. So I tapped on the bowl with a pair of pliers because I think the needle was stuck. That seemed to cure it for now. The carburetor is going to be iffy. I'll probably end up having to put a kit in it, but you know, that's just the way it goes. I also tie wrapped the fuel line to the bulkhead there. I didn't want it flopping around in there, and I wanted a nice even downward flow to the carburetor. So now what I'm going to do is get the seat back in, put the canopy back on it. I've got a new 300 cold cranking amp battery right there. We'll install that. Fill up the fuel tank and fire this thing up and see what happens. I have to add a cross mount in there to put the battery in, because the battery is just about 1/4 of an inch too long one way and 1/4 of an inch too narrow the other way. If I turn it lengthwise, it'll fall right through. So this is just flat bar. I'm going to bolt it in. I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, I got a couple of pieces of 2-inch wide aluminum flat bar bolted in the bottom. Oops. Sorry about the quick camera there. And then I just got a rubber hook strap and to hold the battery in. It's nice and snug in there. So I'm going to now hook up the battery cables and then reinstall the air filter box and then get started on the seat back. All right, let's hook this battery up. There's a cable in the way. Okay, battery's connected. We'll shoot it with a little battery terminal protector. Stuff is messy, but I like clean battery connections. Install this air filter box. Come on. There we go. Battery's in, air box is in. Remember where all this goes. Originally I said I was going to get the torch out and weld that piece back in, but you know, it is so thin and so corroded and oxidized that I decided, reach down in here, I just made a backing plate. I'm going to slide that underneath, bolt it to these two holes, and then drill through the seat back structure into this and bolt it. And I got a corresponding shim I made, it's already under there on the other side, so the seat back stays level. not impressed. This is a Cushman with 2 cylinders. It goes a lot faster. Well, it's not an adventure, well, come on, until you run out of gas, which is exactly what happened. Had to walk all the way back to the shop while Arnie roasted in the sun and get the gas can, because I obviously didn't put enough in it. Well, hey, there's only one other thing left to do to this little club car now. So a couple of videos back, when I showed the parts had arrived, I mentioned one package in particular kind of set aside as a surprise for later. I mean, it goes perfectly with the childish element of this channel, because I am, after all, a child. Yeah. Well, we did it. We resurrected this old, worn out, clapped out club car Carryall, and I think it's gonna be a viable little rig. I still got a few more things to do to it. I've got to brace this top a little bit. I got a couple of cracks. The headlight doesn't work. I want to put a hitch on it so I can tow my yard cart around for doing chores. And eventually I'll probably pick up some kind of seat fabric and redo these seats. Cushions are good, but you know, the covering's been sitting out in the sun forever and worn out and shot. So, but hey, this is going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for hanging out with me on this series. This video turned out to be kind of long. I didn't intend for it to be this long, but there was just so much to do, and I didn't want to drag this out into another 6th part. Five is enough. So with that, I'm going to sign off and let you all go. Thanks for watching. Subscribers, new subscribers, welcome. Old subscribers, as always, thanks for hanging around. We'll see you later on the next one. Bye now.